This is CBC Here and Now.
We'll be setting up now until, I'd say it's going to take us at least 10 o'clock at night before we're completely finished.
Getting ready to ring in the new year. Workers in St. John's get ready to set off hundreds of fireworks over the city. Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Ashley Brawweiler. Tonight, a special New Year's Eve edition. We'll start with the news and weather, and then for the rest of the hour, we'll look back at some of the big stories over the past year and the stories behind them. But we'll start with New Year's Eve preparations.
The two and the three. Put the two there and then the two trees together.
Workers with the City of St. John's are busy today gearing up for tonight's big fireworks show. Hundreds of fireworks are set to light up the sky over Kitty Vitty Lake at midnight. The event is free to people of all ages and starts at 11 p.m. with a New Year's Eve countdown. Even with the cold and breezy weather, the city is expected to a big show tonight.
The finale is usually, we try to do that up so that we have a lot of fireworks in the sky at the same time. We got probably, I'm not sure the exact number, I haven't got my list here, but we got about 850 shots at least that we're going to be firing off tonight.
By the way, you can catch those fireworks live right here on CBC television on the CBC Gem app at midnight as part of CBC's countrywide New Year's Eve celebration. So, how will the weather shape up? Well, it's looking cold as far as wind chills go right now. Wind chills feeling closer to the minus teens right now, right across the board, even closer to the minus 20s in parts of central Newfoundland and up through Labrador. Those temperatures much colder, feeling closer to minus 30, and it's not going to get any better. So if you are planning on heading out tonight, definitely bundle up with wind chills feeling closer to the minus 20s across most of Newfoundland and into Labrador, into the minus 30s as we head through the night tonight. Now here's a look at your forecast. Other than a few flurries, it looks absolutely gorgeous, but again cold. So minus 11 should be your overnight low tonight in St. John's. Those northwest winds feeling closer, or rather stronger at about 50 kilometers per hour. Marystown about minus 8 tonight. Port aux Basques looking at that chance of flurries as well, and minus 5. And then up through Corner Brook, low near minus 10 tonight. Again, those windy conditions out of the west near 40 kilometers per hour. And then up through Labrador, beautiful clear skies tonight, but cold. Minus 30 your overnight low in Happy Valley, Goose Bay, feeling closer to minus 39 with that wind chill. And then those winds will eventually ease. Western Labrador looking at a little bit windier conditions, about 15 kilometers per hour in Labrador City. The best chance of seeing the flurries overnight. Now we've got a big storm on the way for tomorrow, but I will have all those details coming up in a little bit. Well, if you're doing any traveling, as I mentioned with those storms, you'll want to check out with the airlines. WestJet has issued travel advisories for tomorrow and Wednesday for Gander and St. John's, and Air Canada has one issued for St. John's for only Wednesday. Now, those airlines are waiving change fees if you call ahead to change your flights. Well, one performer didn't make a flight to the province. That's because he didn't book it. And now a sold-out New Year's Eve concert in Corner Brook has been canceled after the musician, famous for a song about getting high, forgot to get a plane ticket. Afroman was set to perform in front of an eager crowd at the studio, but then, well, you probably know the rest. Here and Now's Ryan Cook reports.
I was gonna check Canadian plane tickets, but then I got high.
It's a comical, albeit expected excuse from Afroman, the artist that earned a Grammy nomination for Because I Got High, a song that's essentially a list of tasks he forgot to do.
I was gonna clean my room until I got high.
This time he waited too long to book a plane ticket. When he got around to it, he realized it would cost just as much to get to Newfoundland as he was being paid for the show. Bar manager Dave Young says he got a text message from Afroman on Thursday morning saying he wasn't going to make it for the event. Now, this was supposed to be the first big event for Young at the studio. Instead, it's a flop.
Having a celebrity walk in your door and do shows, that's kind of a big thing, right? And of course, not having them show up now, it's kind of a kick in the teeth, right?
In a video posted on Facebook, Afroman says the people of Corner Brook can expect a makeup show sometime in mid-January. And that's if everything goes well with his plane tickets. Ryan Cook, CBC News, St. John's.
As the holidays and holiday parties continue, police across the province are trying to stop impaired drivers. The RCMP held its 13th annual Impaired Driving Enforcement Day on December 22nd. The force says its officers checked more than 3,200 vehicles across the province at 56 different roadblocks. They charged 5 people with impaired driving by alcohol, gave 6 people 7-day suspensions for alcohol, and charged 2 people under the Provincial Cannabis Act. The latest series of roadside checkpoints comes less than 2 weeks after new rules took effect, allowing police officers to demand a breath sample from any driver they stop without having a specific reason. Police were called to St. John's International Airport last night to deal with a disruptive passenger. The RNC says a plane headed out of the country from a different province had to make an unplanned landing here around 9 o'clock. Police say the 29-year-old man was intoxicated and causing a disturbance. He was removed from the plane and arrested without incident, and the flight continued on to its destination. 10 people will be named to the Order of Newfoundland and Labrador at a ceremony in January. Among those receiving the honor are artist Christopher Pratt, Olympian Caitlin Osman, and longtime Labrador volunteer Paula Dahl. The newest additions were announced by the Lieutenant Governor's office today. It will be the 12th ceremony since appointments began in 2004 and will bring the total number of recipients to 110. Bird watchers in St. John's captured some upsetting pictures with their cameras last week. Seagulls covered in oil were spotted on Kitty Vitty Lake, and another was seen at the Robin Hood Bay landfill. Some oil ducks have also been seen. A bird biologist says it's not uncommon to see a few oiled birds appear in the winter. Often that oil comes from bunker fuel dumped or spilled by smaller local ships. But after the Sea Rose oil vessel spilled 250,000 liters of crude oil in the ocean last November, biologist Ian Jones says it's important to test these birds to determine the source of the brown blackish substance coating their feathers. Jones says the oiled birds will certainly die, and the oil on their feathers will then pose a hazard for other birds. Well, we mentioned changing your flights for tomorrow and Wednesday, and this is why. Take a look at these warnings. First, blizzard warnings for parts of Newfoundland. This will be for Tuesday into Wednesday. We've got snowfall warnings for parts of Central, and then wreck house and blowing snow advisory for the Port aux Basques area. And then wreck house obviously could see gusts between 90 to 110 kilometers per hour with this next system that moves in. And then Labrador is going to sit this one out for the most part. We're looking at wind chills though, minus 40 to minus 50 Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So if you take a look at that future tracker, first half of tomorrow looks, overnight tonight and into tomorrow looks quite nice. We're just going to see some flurries move in for Labrador, and then into the afternoon, that's when things will start to deteriorate. We're going to see that system move in, those winds really picking up. As I mentioned, somewhere between 90 to 100 kilometers per hour, 110 for the wreck house area into the afternoon. Now this snow will be heavy at times overnight Tuesday and into Wednesday as well. So here's a look at the forecast for tomorrow. Cold again, minus single digits, mid-minus single digits. St. John's -6. There's those winds I was talking about. So southeast winds between 60 and 90 kilometers per hour along the south coast as well. 0 degrees for Port aux Basques. Corner Brook sitting at -3 again with that snow. Marystown looking at that as well, and -2. And then up through Labrador, not too bad, just some flurries, maybe some light snow at times. Northwest winds 20, gusting 40 for western Labrador. The Straits looking at winds out of the southwest near 20 kilometers per hour. Now the winds really are the story, same with the snow, and that's what's going to lead to those blizzard conditions for parts of the island. Tuesday night, those winds really pick up, going to spread further east into Wednesday morning with gusts between 90 to 100 kilometers per hour, even more so through the day on Wednesday as that low continues to track further east. In behind it, we'll see that switch to northwest winds and then continue to track further east. Now, as far as snowfall goes, this is what I'm thinking. So good bet between 15 to 25 centimeters, and then a swath of between 25 to 35 centimeters. Labrador looking at 5 to 10 centimeters at the most. So that snow will continue on Wednesday and then eventually clear out by the time Thursday rolls around, but it'll stay quite windy again, so we're looking at blowing snow right through Wednesday. But those temperatures, not too bad, sitting in the minus single digits, and then that wind chill for Lab City at minus 27. So let's look at your first couple of days of 2019.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Chrissy Holmes.
And I'm Anthony Germain. We are live at Memorial University's Signal Hill campus here on the Battery in downtown St. John's. The story behind the story.
Hello there.
Racing just calms me down and just lets me be me.
You can smoke on your own property.
Anybody in a wheelchair would not have gotten around.
How difficult is that transition?
25 years ago, fishermen in this province were hit with a crushing blow.
His family suspects something sinister.
What was it like to hear that diagnosis?
We were at a point where we just wanted to play music.
Rabbitown has diversified so much in recent years.
We are sorry. I never thought that this would happen.
We are just about to release the bees, and there we go.
And that is just a glimpse of some of the many, many stories that we produce here in Newfoundland and Labrador. And some of them highlight events, some of them emotions, personal stories, things that happen, things that people think about. And they are really stories that connect us with our community, and they all usually start with one person and one idea.
There really is something very special about this place, and it's intrinsic in our history, our people, and of course, our storytelling.
And as the public broadcaster, we really want to do our best to try to zero in on those stories that demonstrate what makes people and events unique here. And to do that requires building a degree of trust with people. And trust is not something that's easily earned. So tonight, in that spirit, we want to pull back the curtain of how we do things and really bring you to the other side of the microphone, a place you don't get to go to that often. So let's introduce you to the people who are really going to make tonight a success, and that is our panel, people that we work with every day. Over here, we have Megan McCabe, Rob Antle, Jen White, Stephen Miller, and Caroline Hillier.
And on the other side, we've got Zach Gowdy, Bailey White, Ariana Kelland, Fred Hutton, and Ted Blades. Welcome. We're going to begin now with a very special project that we've done recently here at CBC NL. It's a documentary called Persons First, inside the Wiseman Center. The 30-minute documentary actually aired first 1 year ago, last November. And at that time, it clearly left an impression on the audience.
I was in prison for attempted murders and bank robbery.
Along the way, I was diagnosed as schizophrenic.
I relapsed and went downtown, got on Paul drugs.
Well, our philosophy here is that everyone's, first of all, persons. They're all people like you and I.
Now, Megan, what was it like actually just trying to make connections with people inside that shelter?
It was surprisingly easy, and we're talking about trust, and that was the only thing I was a little bit worried about going in, that I come from a very different experience than a lot of the people in that shelter. So I was a bit concerned that they would look at me and be like, who are you? I don't want to talk to you. What are you doing here? Get out of our space, right? But nobody was. We were in their house, and they were so proud to show it off and to tell their stories. They wanted us to tell the world not to judge them, and that they're people just like everybody else. And they were so open.
I found it so interesting because the feeling of hope really came through loud and clear in this piece. But given some of the harder subject matter that you were dealing with, I mean, was that challenging to get that?
I actually don't think it was, because that, and I guess that's the thing, right? Everything is a balance. So where there's pain, there's also joy and hope. It was like really, really sad and intense, and it was a lot to process after these 2 really long days of shooting. But that sense of hope never went away either, and just the camaraderie between the people living there, yeah.
It's Megan McCabe, of course, a reporter at that point. Nowadays, she's working as an assignment producer. Megan, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
CBC is known for news. We're known for investigative journalism, breaking news, enterprise journalism, but we're also making a move into what we're calling the news of life. So the People Project is about telling stories about people in the community. It's also about our people internally, about changing the culture of how we think about storytelling, thinking about the kinds of stories we tell.
What this project is kind of about is broadening the tent, bringing people who are not our hyper-loyal readers into the CBC more frequently. We've been hearing voices that you wouldn't hear of a whole lot. And maybe people that we would never have considered otherwise as a story that needed to be told.
For years, we've always called it the story lineup, not the news lineup. Because if you call it the news lineup, in your head, it's, you know, politics, fires, that usual heavy daily news material that doesn't have a range.
I don't think it really matters to them that we go, ooh, that's not really hard news. For them, they go, God, that's a really good story. I have to tell people about it.
You know, people have a range of interests in their lives. That's where we're trying to put a focus in, give people a place where they can tell the story of what's going on in their life.
Well, you'll probably recognize our next panelist's voice before you recognize his face. Ted Blades is the iconic voice behind CBC Radio's On the Go, and he's actually been in that gig for 30 years.
Yes, and despite his chronological advancement, Ted brings a curiosity to his job every day. We all see that in the work that he does. And Ted wants to talk about the simplicity of and the value of a simple idea. Mr. Blades.
Journalists are a lot like everybody else. We tend to overthink things. We try and figure out how are we going to do this? What production values do we bring to it? How do we make this fancy? But Peter Gullidge said to me one day, I got an idea. Go find some smart people with some interesting things to say, take them for a walk, and let's find out what happens. The one that I wanted to play a clip from you for you tonight is from seabird biologist Holly Hogan.
What is that?
That's a junco, a dark-eyed junco, and they're checking out that sound that I'm making. What I've heard is that it imitates the sound of an annoyed owl, and birds often try to harass owls for some reason. It's a great trick for helping people learn birds.
We were looking out at the Atlantic, and I said to Holly, what do you see out there that I don't see? And she goes, I see possibilities. And 5 seconds later, I kid you not, a whale leaps out of the water. So I don't know how Holly does it, but I was glad we booked her. And as Peter says, let's do things and air our experiments. We can't afford not to. Let's put them up on the radio or online and see what people think.
At CBC NL, we do news and we do current affairs. We have 8 radio current affairs programs in this province. 3 weekday morning shows. One comes from St. John's, one is co-hosted from between Gander and Corner Brook, and there's one from Goose Bay. We also have our noon phone-in show, our afternoon drive program, and of course, then there's the broadcast. In addition to that, we have our Weekend AM, our weekend morning show, and we have Atlantic Voice, which is co-produced between St. John's and Halifax, mainly feature documentaries. The beauty of current affairs is like a blank slate, a platform that we can try a variety of treatments and do a variety of stories. So everything from survival information like weather and traffic, things you need to know on a daily basis, to news, to bringing you original stories. When you're talking about 70 hours of programming per week, and we want mainly original stories, it takes an awful lot of work to get that together. So that's from the editorial perspective. You find the stories, you produce the stories, you put them together, you air them.
Will I call you back on this number?
But then behind the scenes, there's our technical crew, and we couldn't put anything together without them. They make the magic that actually get us on the air. We wouldn't be anything without our technical crew.
Now, if you're just tuning in, we're coming to you from MUN's Signal Hill campus. This is the story behind the story. We're trying to peel back the curtain and let you know how we actually make stories at CBC Newfoundland and Labrador, from the initial pitch, the initial idea, to all the production involved, and of course, to the people who we interview, and we're looking at the impact these stories have as well. I'm Anthony Germain.
And I'm Chrissy Holmes. Most mornings I spend right next to this guy over here, Fred Hutton. And if you listen to the show, or if you know Fred, you probably know that he really likes his phone. Just describe what you're doing at 4 o'clock today, Fred.
So morning show people sleep in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So it was in my bat cave, and the phone rang, and it was a story tip. So I put the phone on my chest and spoke on speaker to that person and typed the notes into the other phone.
That's why you need two
and
phones.
You can do that anywhere in the world. It's just basically being connected. I guess that's what we do. That's how you find out what's going on in the world.
And how old are they?
Just talking to people. And I guess after a number of years, people tend to have a certain level of trust. I mean, that's the kind of thing you learn in kindergarten and from your mom very early in life, is treat people the way you want to be treated. And, you know, after a while, they just get to know that you're going to be trustworthy, which is why they will open up to you. And the first story, the first clip you'll see is a young man who watched his uncle drown. He had to leave him last year because their snowmobile went through the ice, and he tried for over an hour to get him out, and he couldn't. I asked to do an interview with his family, and they said, sure, come on into the hospital, which I never expected them to say.
He was losing energy. He could barely keep himself up. I couldn't lift him up. So I told him that I loved him and that I miss him.
I will say this, that when we left, and the two cameramen who were with me, two camera operators, I don't think we spoke the entire way from the hospital back to the CBC, because we just couldn't believe what we had just witnessed, that somebody had opened up like this.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Fred Hutton.
We're visual storytellers, essentially. Our job is pretty technical, so we worry about things like white balance and focus and exposure, and I guess in the edits we worry about audio mix and stuff like that. But there's a whole lot more to our job than just pushing buttons.
And a lot of times you don't know what you're going to experience when you go to shoot something, so you kind of got to step back and assess the whole situation. I think you get the best out of people when they trust you.
Yeah, well, a good example of that was the story that we did earlier this year. It was on child exploitation. It was a tough one.
As a child, you cannot consent to any of what I went through.
It's an awful story, what it was, and she told it to us.
The one I remember is getting tied to a tree and beaten.
You almost remove yourself from being the camera person. You know, you just kind of, you try to be her friend almost, right? And I did create a pretty good relationship with her. I visited her many times after, and I don't know if that helped her bring out what she had to tell us, but I kind of hope it did.
I think it did, for sure.
Sorry.
It can be tough, sometimes rewarding too, and there are some benefits with the job.
Blueberry grunt into the pan, last chance.
You get to meet people you would never meet, go places that you would never go. You travel, you get, like, you know, this I think is the best job in the building.
Yeah, we got it pretty good.
In case you don't already know, investigative journalism requires a lot of work. Usually involves lawyers, access to information requests, and people like Rob Antle. Rob Antle is the producer with our CBC Investigates team. And Rob, can you give us a sense of what you do in the I-Unit?
Well, it's really about enterprise reporting. I mean, it's about doing in-depth examinations of issues we think are of public interest. I mean, these are stories that aren't always easy to get, but once we do get them, we try to ask what we think are important questions to the people in them, so that our viewers get the answers they deserve.
So,
Here and Now can finally tell you how our soon-to-be premier was plunged into a murder investigation.
This stuff shouldn't have been that hard to catch, though, should it?
The RNC received more than 12,000 security alarm calls in 2014.
We did detect fraud eventually.
So what has that person been doing?
Well, that person... Give people a sense, Rob, of the effort and time that goes into producing some of the things we just saw.
Sure. So, I mean, stories we do can take anywhere from hours to weeks or months or even years, really. The story involving the premier involved a team of us attending court hearings we couldn't report on. It involved CBC lawyers. It involved us going to court to be able to report that story, period. You know, the type of work we do involves a lot of research, there's information everywhere, and it involves sifting through all this information and trying to find things that are interesting and worth pursuing, you know, to tell these important stories to the public.
Thank you, Rob. And at the outset of tonight's event, I mentioned impact, and there's no question when we see the investigative unit, Rob and Jen at the helm, when their stories roll out, that's where we really see the impact. And when I talk to people, they basically say, thank you, we had no idea that kind of stuff was going on. So it's Rob Antle, our investigative unit.
I think it's the what to cover is the hardest part. I think news is, it's a very broad definition. The news cycle is endless. News happens every day.
And we're on. Here we are.
Good evening, I'm Debbie Cooper.
And that's the exciting thing about it, I think, right?
It doesn't look like you keep going.
I think every day is a balance. We balance some of these high-impact original stories, investigative stories, feature interviews. We balance those with breaking news.
A significant development at the Muskrat Falls project.
Audience first is something that is first in our minds all the time.
Good afternoon, I'm Ted Blades.
Even with 10 different platforms to land our material, we have to think of the audience as ultimately who it boils down to. Trying to change the way that we've been assigning stories, very visual stories, and to kind of build on the knowledge and the experience and the reputation that we already had with Here and Now.
Tonight I'll take you inside.
And the strong video journalists across the province, our videographers and the editors that we have. I'd like to think, and I hope people will back me up on this, that we get many more days right than we do wrong. There's many days that I've gone home and thought that we really did a great job for the public.
Well, moving on, Last Seen is a 7-part series that aired over March and April of last year. And it was something in the works that took more than a year for Ariana Kelland. It involved a lot of research, cooperation, and as you can imagine, some very difficult conversations.
Sharon Drover would be 57 today. If someone knows where Aaron Dragonetti is, they're not talking.
Whoever killed her, I would like them to know that they took someone of value. She wasn't garbage. May God have mercy on their soul. I forgive them.
Why was it important for you to tell these stories?
Well, for me, it was a personal interest. There were names on that list that I had never heard of that went missing in our province, and we in the media didn't bother to stop and ask, what's the story here? I knew when I did this that I needed to have the police on board, and the RNC did agree to meet with me. I brought along Gary Quigley, our videographer, and Peter Gullidge, and we sat down and we said, you know, we want to tell these stories. We want to see things we've never seen and find out details that we've never heard before, and they did it. And then after that, it was figuring out how are we going to tell this story with a couple of photos of each of these people. And that's where Paul Pickett came in. And this really wasn't just me. This was me and Paul working on this together. We were equally as dedicated to doing this. So we had some reenactments that we did. We shot scenes in different seasons. And then for months, I called family members, friends of these people. And that took a lot of work to try to find these people and these families. And it did pay off. The RNC did receive a lot of tips after the series went up. They still receive tips. And I still have close relationships with some of the families. I still talk to them to this day. And for them, it was worth it.
So who knows? Keep our fingers crossed, see if there's new information. It's Ariana Kelland. Should mention you can see Ariana's Last Seen series on CBC's YouTube channel, and check that out there. Ariana's a reporter and a social media producer.
The broadcast is such an iconic program in this province. It was about our environment and our coastal communities and the people who are making their living from the oceans.
And you hear from so many people who say, I'm not a fisherman or a fish harvester, but I listen to that show because I learn a lot about what's going on out there in little rural communities.
At its inception, it was about, what fishers were getting, what prices they were getting for their catch. And in more recent years, it's been about the ocean in general, what's going on the ocean, because there are so many different people who make their living on the water.
We came here 500 years ago for the fish. We're still here for the fish, but we're more than that now.
Fish harvesting, tourism,
oil and gas, aquaculture,
shipping.
We're sending ROVs underneath the waves.
There's so much going on out there, and we're trying to dip into pieces of that every day. These stories are really important to talk about because it's where we live. We live at the edge of the ocean. It's our environment.
The ocean is a vast part of who we are, and we need to reflect it more.
We really need to focus in on what's happening and what's changing in the ocean because it affects people all over the province every single day.
One of the things that we've touched on a couple of times tonight is impact, and sometimes that seems kind of abstract, but impact can be measured in concrete terms, especially when a story results in real change.
Living with a disability in Newfoundland and Labrador. Do we live in a segregated society?
We wanted to flood the airwaves with this series to get people to look at accessibility in ways they probably never have before. And it was really rewarding, as Anthony mentioned, to see some actual change come about from this series. The idea of constructive journalism is that instead of focusing on the negative or the issues at hand, harping on that, it's about offering some form of solution, getting people to think about how things can be improved or changed for the better. And that's exactly what happened in this case. There was a positive change that came about from our coverage. So we highlighted some areas in St. John's that for able-bodied people probably would be pretty easy to get around. But from the point of view of someone who uses, say, a wheelchair or a walker, it showed how some small changes could make a really big difference.
The Jumping Bean franchise on Elizabeth Avenue in St. John's is buzzing.
I can't reach back to get the door closed. I couldn't get my chair in enough to turn around to reach back and close the door.
Accessibility advocate Joanne McDonald agreed to go to that Jumping Bean location.
I can't really access the soap dispenser.
It needs to be lower or on the far wall? Yeah.
Really puts a spotlight in terms of where the issues are. And it's not with business owners like the Jumping Bean. The issue is with legislation that we currently have because it's not up to date.
So Ramona actually did an update on this story in June, and the Jumping Bean on Elizabeth Avenue has made some changes since the story first aired, like some automatic door openers were installed, and there were also plans to renovate the bathroom stalls. And then there's this.
Their new franchise on Kelsey Drive has a washroom everyone can use.
So there's lots of room in here. What an awesome response.
I think most of us were surprised when we got an opportunity to see the world through the eyes of somebody that has mobility challenges. Thanks so much, Jen.
Thank you.
That is producer Jen White.
Exploitation is a music show that we started as YouTube videos. We were going to do videos for the CBC YouTube page. It's a show produced by the technical team, which is kind of a rarity for the CBC. We're behind the scenes people, so we came up with this show. We brought in artists who were up and comers and established. They've all dried up. You could see someone like a Janet Cole or a Matthew Byrne or Rough Hands, Luke Tremblay. Bridget and Dahlia from Cornerbrook. We matched them up, and then we got enough of this, and we said, we got a TV show here. So now we're bringing in new artists, and we're bringing in artists that people haven't heard of, people are starting to talk about it. And when people talk about it, that's a good thing. The technical team that does the Parkway sessions, this is what we do.
Take one.
We work daily news, but this is our treat. This is our playtime. This is our bonus. This is our Christmas turkey because we have fun, we love doing it. And plus we're bringing new people into the building and we're helping in some way establish their music career.
Shout out to the Parkway Sessions crew. Well, this next story was of national significance. You might recall that the Trudeau government apologized to residential school survivors back in 2017.
I had the extreme privilege of hosting with Anthony Germain that radio coverage, and my job was sort of to be the eyes and ears in the venue. So it was really low tech. I just had a little microphone, a little lamp, a little clipboard, and I was in the light booth, which was open to the audience. So I had to use my golf voice, because I couldn't talk too loudly because it was very somber. People weren't chit-chatting or laughing. You had to be quiet and tell the story of what was going on there so that people could understand. So we do have a clip of that.
Well, you can just hear Sarah and Alan now explaining the hoodluk. Did you catch all that, Anthony?
No.
She says, well, the hoodluk is a traditional Inuit lamp, and it's lit with oil. So she says traditionally we'd use seal oil would be the most common, but caribou oil would be another one. But this is very modern, so she got this at the grocery store. This is just virgin olive oil that she's using to light the hoodluk here.
She just gave a very funny bow as well.
I'll tell you more stories later.
So that was a moment of levity, which there weren't many of, but I picked that clip because I feel like it helps you understand, what we were trying to do and trying to communicate to people who are listening at home. It was a very emotional day, and as I said, that was one of just a few real moments of levity. It was powerful, it was emotional. We knew that the people who were watching and listening, this isn't some casual viewing or casual listening for them.
We had our own form of spirituality and our own form of religion before anyone landed on the shores here. We were not assimilated. We were stronger than that.
It's remarkable seeing that because it brings me back to that day when Bailey did all the heavy lifting in a radio special. Was just watching it, that sort of tightness in the chest again, because it was a very, very emotional day. Bailey White recently transplanted to St. John's from Labrador. She is a reporter and newsreader now here at CBC NL in St. John's.
If you think about a news story as a snapshot in time, I guess a long-form documentary or feature interview is like a painting. It has layers, it has more color, and it has more detail, and I think can really take you to a place. I think at the CBC, we take our storytelling superpower for granted. We do it every single day. We look at long documents, we listen to long sessions at the House of Assembly, and we can glean the story from that. And I think when we can show that to other people, to younger producers, to outside producers, and help them get through and refine the story and bring it down to that nub, that gem of the story, I think that's when we're using our superpowers to the best of our abilities. It's a mentorship, definitely, and it's an important thing that we do and that we can bring to the community because we're storytellers. We think of ourselves as news people or arts producers or documentary producers. We're all storytellers, but we've really honed our storytelling skills. That's what we should be sharing with the community.
moving your life from the north to the furthest spot that I could have potentially moved is not easy, but it's exciting. It's a fresh start. I get to be in a new area and learn.
You can't go wrong with this shit.
Some of the first things that I went to when I first got here were Signal Hill, Cape Spear. What surprised me most, and it shouldn't surprise me, but how gorgeous it is. Beautiful shot there with the reflections. Getting the weather photos, it's definitely given me joy.
8 degrees today.
I think everybody in their own way is obsessed with the weather.
Are you used to the cold?
Oh, yes. I think in Newfoundland here, it specifically affects people's daily lives and their livelihood.
You can see this from everywhere.
I hope to connect with the community through weather stories and finding weather stories in specific communities. I do want to make it up to Labrador. I want to make it to the West Coast. A whole province to explore.
Our next two talkers bring a really interesting story, and actually one of them happens to be the producer of our St. John's Morning Show, Caroline Hillier, along with Stephen Miller. And the way that these two eventually met and started working together is fascinating.
I didn't know if each night was going to be Stephen's last night with us or alive in our house, if I was going to get up in the morning and see Stephen OD'd.
And just watching him like get sicker and sicker and sicker, and I just wanted him to get better. So I don't think I was ever going to give up on him.
I'm Stephen Miller, and I spent a decade of my life doing the whole drug addict thing. I'm on a different journey these days. It's been about 3 years since I stopped abusing opiates. I was more or less a vampire, and now I'm a journalist. As is Caroline here, and she told my story.
Yeah, so you're going to make me cry already. That applause was lovely. Stephen has been through a lot, as you can imagine. He lost his girlfriend to an overdose, and she died right in front of him. He's been in and out of jail. He really has been through a lot.
I never imagined that somebody would want to tell my story. I certainly didn't expect it to be someone who actually knew.
Right. So Stephen and I actually met 10 years ago in university. We met at house parties and class, this kind of stuff. And then we didn't keep in touch, but we had each other as friends on Facebook. And so for years, the last few years, I would see Stephen's status updates, and they'd be really dramatic and about jail and drugs and alcohol. So I messaged Stephen, and
coincidentally, when she messaged me, I was getting clean from drugs, and I was using the methadone program to do so, and also I was applying to do journalism at College of the North Atlantic.
Yeah. And why did you say yes?
Honestly, I said yes because it's not that long ago that I felt hopeless myself. I never met anyone who, personally, who had made it out of the racket alive. And there's really not that many stories of people that turn their lives around and do it. So I was happy to be the example of somebody who went a different route.
Yeah, and what I really love to do is stories when we get to know someone. When you can actually follow someone around in their day-to-day life, it reveals so much more than a question and answer kind of thing. So I think when it was finally finished, what did you think that when it finally did air?
Thank God it's over. No. Hearing it was fine. As you said, it was the waiting to hear it that kind of I struggled with. But since the story came out, I've had dozens of people message me, and everybody said that they found value in the story and that it helped them in some way. So it's not very often you get to make a difference.
The amazing Stephen Miller and Caroline Hillier. Amazing stuff.
We tell stories about real people, and they're ordinary people doing, I like to say, extraordinary things.
Seeley grew up in a remote northern outport near Hawke's Bay.
And sometimes they don't even realize they're doing extraordinary things. In the beginning, it was very much an industry-oriented show.
A busy place on a summer morning.
The programs were 80% fishery, a little bit of farming, a little bit of logging. Now it's much more of a human interest, lifestyle kind of a program that reflects our way of life. It's all about us. I feel that our responsibility is to tell good stories. In doing that, we have also captured and archived a lot of our culture and our traditions. You go back through all the years of Land and Sea programs.
Now, is this stuff as popular as your salmon?
It's like getting a PhD in Newfoundland culture. It's a tremendous body of work. There's a story, there's a show underneath every rock. It's just such a rich place. A lot about Outport Newfoundland has actually stayed the same. The heart of Outport Newfoundland is the same. People still have a party in their shed on Friday nights. People still go rabbit catching in the fall. They still go moose hunting in the fall. There's still a piece of salt beef in the pot on a Sunday. The heart and soul of Outport Newfoundland is still strong, and I think that's great.
Throughout the night, we've seen a lot of reporting that is informative, emotionally compelling, and sometimes we produce journalism that just on the face of the practicality of the information is exceptionally strong and focuses on issues that affect all of us in our daily life. And Zach Gowdy is here now to give you a glimpse into some of the stories that he has recently done.
Yeah, you're talking about news you can use, which is like an old chestnut in broadcasting, but it's a format that persists because it works, it really works, and it continues to be very popular. One reason I think is because it's a format that speaks directly to the audience. So most of our journalism gives you something to think about. The kind of constructive stories give you something to do in your own life, and that's very powerful. But these kind of stories really often is about bringing together information that exists out there. And here we're saying, no, we've done that for you, and we've taken an issue, and we've boiled it down to what you need to know. And those of you who are really into media and media watchers will recognize that phrase, what you need to know.
And $12 per gram.
Here's one that we did on the issue of cannabis legalization. Here's an issue where literally every single thing about this issue was going to change overnight. So 1 week before the big day, we presented our audience with what you need to know.
You can smoke on your own property, in your house or in your yard. When it comes to an apartment or rental property, smoking may or may not be allowed. Depends on the terms of your rental agreement. But like alcohol, you can't smoke in any public places. Not on the streets, not in the park.
All of that information was out there, but here we've put it together in a way that hopefully is fun and engaging for the audience. It works in places where the audience is already going, like Facebook. And after that video was published, the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary shared it on their official Twitter channel. And I got a thank you from the Newfoundland and Labrador Liquor Corporation. And they both said, hey, here we are being deluged with questions about this issue, and here you've put basically all the answers into one package. And nothing feels better as a journalist than when somebody contacts you afterwards and says, thanks. That's why we all get up in the morning.
That pretty much wraps up our evening tonight, the story behind the story. I have to say personally, I mentioned at the beginning how proud I am of all the work that you guys do day in, day out.
We also want to say thank you, a very special thank you to the people that trust us enough to enter that storytelling relationship, because of course none of it would be possible without people taking the risk to tell their stories.
Yeah, and of course there's no point doing this without the audience. Thank you very much, and we'll see you on the radio and on TV and online tomorrow.
Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us for the story behind the story.